Welcome back to Mental Health Matters. This is a brand new episode, and of course, on this platform, what we usually do is talk about all things mental health and how you can figure out your own mental health and live a better life, be more healthy, be more aware, know exactly what is going on with you, just know your story, other than just walking around not knowing exactly what's up with you. So, this is what we do. And in this episode, we are going to address a lot of things, but in particular, we are going to talk about the idea of being a strong person. Because, I feel like every one of us is familiar with that phrase when someone is just saying to you, you're such a strong person. I can't imagine going through what you went through. This person is a strong person. When you go through difficult times and you come out and you look good, you're great, people will just say, she's a strong person, he's a strong person, and so on. So I really think that there's nothing wrong with the word strong or that line. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, you're a strong person. But there's a lot going on behind that word. Why am I saying that? Because if you think about it, when we look back as children, because we've all been children, and maybe you were playing and you got hurt or something happened to you, and then a parent or some adult will say to you, stop crying, you need to be strong, you need to be a strong girl, you need to be a strong boy. And we grow up with that concept of, I cannot cry, I can't really express my feelings because I need to be strong. This is what I was taught, this is what is constantly in my mind about, being strong. And that's what we do. We go out there and we, you know, show that face of strength and being this person that is really, really strong to the world. And that's how society is. That is the social conditioning. But the problem is that is a facade. That is not the truth. And am I saying you need to wear your problems on your sleeves and be like, hey, everybody, this is what I'm going through? No, that's not what I'm saying, because that's not what I am doing, or that's not what I would do. I don't think that is going to help me. For me, it's not shame. Let's get this straight. For me, the idea of like talking about problems and talking about your challenge is not shame. My thing is, I feel like there is no solution in that. There is no solution in me wearing my problems on my sleeve. But what I can do is talk to people that I trust. What I can do is reach out to my support system that I know has my back, that I know will be able to support me during that time, will provide some guidance wherever that they can. So maybe then we can say sometimes some people do not have a support system, and the only way is to go out there and wear everything on your sleeves. There are many different reasons. I don't want to boil it down to two things, but this is just a general thing. And for me personally, like I said, I have a support structure that I know I can go to, and there are certain things that I would need to do in that process in order to make sure that I am taking care of myself. I am trying to find solutions and so on. But back to what we're saying, I really think that there is so much going on underneath the phrase that I'm strong. You're such a strong person. There's a lot going on. And as the title suggests, I think that behind all of that, there is a lot of fear. There is a lot of fear in regards to what is going to happen if I don't show up as the strong person that I am to everybody. What is going to happen to me? What is going to happen? And for me, that is an indication of you really don't have a clue about what is going on with you in the first place. You don't have a clue about what is going on with you in the first place. You are concerned about things that are outside of you, outside of your reality. Because if you don't want to show up as, someone who's going through something vulnerable, show up as you are, really. We don't have to put labels on it. If you don't want to show up as you are because you feel like, oh, you're going to let down people, you're going to be so embarrassed, and what are people going to think? Then whatever it is that is happening clearly is not about you, it's about other people. And you are looking into the approval and the validation of other people. So, where is the self work in there? How are you going to take the time out to figure out what's going on with you? How are you going to take the time out to solve whatever problem that you're facing? You're not going to be able to, because you are so concerned. We are so concerned about what everyone is going to think. And I don't know if it's growth for me, or if I have a lot of trust issues and so many things when it comes to human beings, as much as I'm a human being. But with time, I really find myself not caring as to who and what and why and what they are going to say or anything, because the truth of the matter is you do not know my story, and you have not walked what I've walked. You haven't walked the walk that I've walked. So how then do I wait for your validation? From what point? Where? And how do I wait for you to validate? And I'm going to put on a face like this so that I can get your approval, and I can get your... Why? Why? How is that conducive? How is that going to help me? And how is that going to help you? I really think we are, more than anything, growing up to be these strong people, I recently had a conversation with a friend, and a couple of friends and so on. And, we were just talking about the whole thing of being an independent woman and so on, and how that title is actually diminishing you. That title is actually destroying you, because what happens is when you give yourself titles, when you give yourself a title, you need to live up to the title. It doesn't matter what circumstances, what is going on, who has your back, who doesn't have your back. You always have to, your brain is working to make sure that you live up to that title. So whatever it is that you're thinking and you're telling yourself, wherever you go, when you look at yourself in the mirror, that's what you have in mind. I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm a strong, independent. I have to be strong. I have to be independent. I have to be. And there are circumstances and changes in life that come with growth that will not allow you all the time to be independent, that will not allow you all the time to be strong. And for me, what has kept me going, to be real and to be honest, what has kept me going and what has gotten me to this point is the fact that I have allowed myself to say and speak my mind. I've allowed myself to speak my mind. I've allowed myself to cry, to scream, to kick, to do it all. And over the years and over time, that's what has helped me progress. That's what has helped my mental health. To be honest, I am not going to make this thing up. I am not going to make this thing up. And I have been called so many names. I've been called so many names, like sensitive. You're so sensitive. You're just so sensitive. You're such a sensitive person. Like, every little thing hurts me. Every little thing hurts you. Every little thing gets to you. Guess what? Every little thing that gets to me is actually what has gotten me to this point, because I have a reaction for every little thing. I will not, and I just I actually made a vow to myself, and I was like, I am not going to sweep things under the carpet in life, just like our parents did and elderly people did and whatever, and sweep things under the carpet and say, I got it, I need to be strong, I need to be strong. At least half of the people that I know that did that, they ended up in the grave, and they ended up in deep sorrows, in pain, in situations that I myself cannot put into words. And even worse, I've watched how the closest people to me have gone through so much. They've gone through so much because they kept on bottling things up. They kept on sweeping everything under the carpet. When a problem comes through, it's like, no, we're not going to talk about it. We are not going to talk about it. I'm just going to act strong. That thing, where does it carry you? Where? And what happens? And what do you gain? What do you gain? The least that you can do for your mental health is really express how you feel. It's just express how you feel. When are we going to get to a point where we don't think about, oh, but if I say this, it's going to paint a bad image? Who are you painting a bad image to? And how are they contributing to your mental health? How are they running your system? Because they have their own thing going on. They have their own thing going on. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Really, it really doesn't make sense. And also one thing that I figured out is that people don't want to hear the truth. People don't want to hear the truth. And so when you spit the truth, when you are always truthful to yourself and you face you, I think for me, with everything, with every single challenge that I face, with everything that I deal with, at the end of the day, if today I had a major breakdown or something came up or whatever, at the end of the day, I will not go to bed. I will not sleep without reflecting. And what is reflection? Let's get into reflection. What is reflection? Reflection is simply taking a look, replaying exactly what happened and who said what, replaying my reactions and replaying the other reactions I could have had, and really looking deep into myself as to how am I feeling? Not what am I thinking? How am I feeling about the situation? And prior to that, because with every breakdown, with every conflict, with every problem in life, there is an intro, there's an introduction, there's the beginning stages, the scene. No matter how short it is or whatever, there's that beginning where things are building up and things are building up. What happened there? Was I aware as to what was going on? Did I need to adjust something? What does it mean? And no matter how the situation turned out, what lesson have I learned? Is this something that is repeating itself? Is it a brand new situation? Have I experienced the same thing several times in different situations with different people? What is the story? What is the story? So it's really important for us to get to the bottom of that, because when you are saying that you are a strong person, for who? Why? What? When? Why? Are you being strong because you are fearful of what is going to happen if I'm not strong? If I can hold this down, if I can hold this person down, what is going to happen to that person? Well, how about what is going to happen to you? I really don't know why the idea of us reflecting and doing the work with ourselves is so challenging. It seems like it's so challenging, but it's so easy to just, extend everything to somebody else and lay everything there and be like, I'm supposed to be strong. I'm supposed to be strong for my family. Well, since you are supposed to be strong for your family, do you know who's being strong for you? Do you know as to whether that's a fair game? Are you as strong as they are for you? And it's not malicious, it's not negative, it's not to sound some type of way. But really, if you're going to put yourself number last, if you're going to be a number last, then who is number one and why? And also because we are human beings and things change and people grow, people adapt, people go through certain things and whatnot. The number one, the person who's the number one, the priority, right? Because you don't prioritize yourself. So there's got to be something or someone that you prioritize. That person, if they decide to shift and be some type of way, what is going to happen? You're going to be completely destroyed. If you think about it, the concept of depression comes from the fact that there is something that is deeply disappointing you in your life, that you have put your all. You had expectations because you have put your all and you have put everything into a situation that is not changing. And you can't come to terms with as to why. You can't come to terms as to why. I also define depression as like a prolonged shock. You're so shocked that you're just so shocked. So shocked that you can't do anything. So shocked that you can't. You're like, what's the point? And what's the point? And why? Because you're so shocked at the disappointment of whatever it is that you have put your trust and your love and everything into. And well, that investment never yielded or never gave you a good return and it never gave you good results. So you are in shock mode. Permanent, yeah, I would say permanent or prolonged shock mode because there's no, it's like, I can't live outside of myself. I can't live outside of this reality. So I really have found myself being quite sensitive when, well, I wouldn't label myself as quite sensitive. I actually don't like that word because a lot of people have labeled me as sensitive and I'm like, listen, I'm just me. The difference between you and me is the fact that I am going to speak my mind and I'm going to say exactly what I feel. Maybe for me, I might not speak my mind. I might not speak everything that is in my mind, but I will definitely express my feelings because it's overwhelming. It has come to a point where it's so overwhelming and it's so uncomfortable for me when I don't express the feelings. And if I try to bottle them up and put them under, no, I'll just talk about it some other time. That's when I get into the negativity. That's when I get to react in a way that is not healthy for me and in a way that is not healthy for anybody else. This is why I have said it a couple of times that I don't believe in this thing of introversion and extroversion because it is painting a false image and it is this movement that is encouraging this I'm a strong person thing and I will never really express how I feel and what I think and so on. So ask yourself these reflective questions as to why you defined as a strong person, or why do you define yourself as a strong person? Where does it come from? And do you really feel strong? And what does strong mean to you? Why are you doing it? Or are you just fearful? Are you just feeling like if you don't, you're going to disappoint people? And which people and why? And why is it that they have you in the palm of their hands? What does that mean? What does that mean? And if you showed your vulnerability, and if you said how you felt, what is going to happen? Maybe list the things that are going to happen, that you think are going to happen if you expressed how you felt. And also list the things that are happening currently as you are not expressing how you feel. The more you don't express how you feel, what happens to you? What happens? And what is it that you truly feel, actually? What are your true feelings behind this strong person? And are they healthy for you or toxic? So those are some of the reflective questions that we can just begin to ask ourselves, because we need to start being vulnerable, and we need to start being true to who we are. We need to be genuine to who we are. If you're genuine, it's like your mental health backs you up. It's like your system will back you up. You can go through hell and back. You can go through challenges and you can go through things, but you just pop up and feel what you feel. If it's pain, feel it. If it's this, feel it, and keep going. But that only happens when we allow ourselves to be genuine, and we allow ourselves to feel, and we allow ourselves the chance to express how we truly feel. So many of us are expressing what we think, but do we express how we feel? Because it seems like we try to separate the two. We think that thoughts and emotions are completely different things. Your thoughts obviously are motivated by the emotion itself. If I start talking about something that I regard as strange and taboo, I feel a certain type of way. It makes me feel uncomfortable. And so I'm going to go ahead and formulate thoughts. I'm going to come up with thoughts about that thing because it's making me feel a certain type of way. So why can't we see that connection? Why is it so hard to see that connection? And maybe if we expressed how we truly felt, then people would know what is it that they need to do for you, or where they stand with you, and what expectations you have if you have expectations, and vice versa. So I hope this is helpful. I am in a new season of my podcast on Spotify because that's where I started. I started on Spotify. I'm fairly new on YouTube, and in this new season, I am going to dive deep into the self and all the great things, all the good things that you are doing already. The things that are working for you already, because most of the time we focus on the things that are not working, on the things that we are not doing. So I'm just here to emphasize the things that we are doing well, so that we continue, so that we are encouraged and motivated to work on our mental health. So do check out these podcast episodes. They are only on Spotify, and I will see you next time. Take care of your mental health.